There was a topic today that I'm going to touch base on just a little bit. Some may take this a little bit the wrong way, but I'm going to just give you a heads up on it. The short topic on this is called parenting. You probably wonder where I'm going with this based on the topic of parenting. Well, there's a lot of things that's been bringing my attention in the last couple of weeks or so. And it is very troubling. Troubling to say that in today's generations of 20-somethings, there seems to be a trend somewhere in this mix that it's okay for people to create life, carry life for 9 months, and seem to think, it's going to be easy. Life as we know itself, mind you, isn't easy. I am troubled to the fact that our system wants to, at least on a bare minimal, want to punish certain types of parents. Alright? Let me just emphasize that. Certain types. Alright? There's the parents that care and they want to succeed to be parents. And there's parents that, well, like I said, they want to play in casual activity and create life and decide, well, you know what, 9 months later, maybe the dad decides to, the second partner decides to leave or whatever, and the other partner decides to carry the life for 9 months, and it's a mess. It's a mess. Now, I'm going to backdoor this thought for a minute, alright? There comes to a point where we are engaged in social activities that we should take our responsibilities very carefully. Now, I'm not going to sit here and downplay, this whole notion, of, freedom is freedom and we can do whatever we want, after a certain age. Understand this. When is it okay to engage in social activities and seem to think there's no recourse or any kind of repercussion, as I per se. I'm not gonna, elaborate on any certain people or any kind of whatever, but I'm going to say this to a point. When your family, your parenting skills become to question to having the Department of Child Services in your life, that is to the point where your parenting skills come into question. It's not that you don't know, it's your ability in fixing what needs to be fixed. I think society has gotten to the point where our government agencies, like the Department of Child Services, the Family and Social Services Administration, and all these others, are getting to the point where we are no longer parents. Our current parenting skills are continuously called into question. This is what has been brought to my attention. When we do become parents, we are parents of life. We have no longer our own self-interest to worry about. We have the interest of a little life that grows up into a human being with feelings, with a mind, that can hear, that can see, that can talk. We no longer have our self-interest to worry about. We have the interest of that life to worry about. We, as parents, have to understand this is not about us, it's about this. This is the life that we have brought into the world. Do we understand that as a member of society, we are always called into question of everything we do? All right? We as parents are always called into question because of what we do. Again, it's not about us. It's about us treating this life as respectfully as we should. Look, I'm a parent of 3. Catch 21 here. One is a stepdaughter. The other 2 are mine. I have treated my stepdaughter as if she was my own. I don't understand why it is so hard for society to maintain a responsible, respective nature with our children. But remember, when our children are little, we do not treat them as adults. We treat them as a student. We are teaching our kids to grow. We are teaching our kids to live. We're teaching our kids to learn. We are teaching our kids to be responsible. We're teaching our kids to what it is to live. We as parents are teachers. First and foremost, we are teachers. Here is what a lot of people get in trouble with. We want to be friends with our kids. We want to be the friends our kids want. I have a problem with that. I do. Number one, like I said, we are the teachers. Number two, we are the discipliners. We discipline our children. Teaching and discipline are in the same sentence. Okay? There's nothing hard with that. Nothing wrong with this. Nothing. Look, I'm not making this video because I'm picking on one person or that person, but this was something that was brought to my attention that I have a feeling it needs to be discussed. It needs to be. Even if our kids are 20-somethings, we still have the obligation and responsibility to make sure our kids are still on the formidable path to be responsible adults to take care of themselves and others, and treat others with the most highest dignity and respect. Alright? Finally, I'm going to say this finally, okay? To all the men out there, please treat your significant partner the way you want to be treated. With respect, treat her with honor, and whatever you do, you end up finding out you become a father. You find out you become a dad, you stay with your partner. Don't get cold feet, run off, and say, I don't know what I'm doing, or I can't handle this no more. I'm stressed. I don't know. That's an excuse. Alright? That is an excuse. If you did not want her to be carrying life for 9 months, then don't do these social activities. activities. Alright? To the stepfathers, look, if you want to be with your partner, you know she has a life, a second life here, that she's caring for, she's trying to take care of, and she's having the most difficult time. Treat this as if he or she was your own. Alright? Treat that little life as if it was your own. Because being a step parent is one obligation that is not what's the word I'm looking for here? It's one of the highest honors a parent can have. Alright? It's a very high honor to be a step parent. Even though we are not caring for something that we created, but we're caring for something that somebody else had helped create and didn't want. Alright? Being a step parent is not a choice, but we take this choice and make it an obligation to take care of. I hope and I pray that in the new year, a lot of people will start taking more responsibility and having more respect for their children. But I know in today's world, there is a lot more stressors, there's a lot more heartache, there's a lot more negatives going on for our children. But look, we are our children's teachers, we are our children's discipliners, and thirdly, we are our children's protectors. But last thought, look, if your children are continually making mistakes and your children are continually not learning from these mistakes, look, it's okay to fail. It's okay. It's okay to fail. And the only reason why I say this is because failing is the highest experience that anybody can have. It's a first attempt in learning. We all, at one point or another, have failed at something. But the one thing we should not fail at is being a parent. We have to teach our kids that we are human, that we do make mistakes. Failing is not a bad thing. If your kids get an F on the report card and saying, well, you don't I wish this stigma would go away. You know, most parents I just wish the stigma would go away. Most parents will abuse their kids for getting an F on a report card. I just wish the stigma would go away. We have to start teaching our kids that failing is not a bad thing. We have to learn. We as parents are human too. Alright? We are human, but listen, if there's any one thing that you wanted to do in life, and this does not come with a manual, it doesn't come with instructions. Parenting is a natural obligation. It's nature's way of choosing us to teach the next generation and to discipline the next generation to be human. Alright? So, best of luck to everyone. Remember to love your children. Tell them you love them every day. Remember to give them the best education possible. If they can't learn in school, please teach them at home. And be the best teachers, be the best discipliners, and be the best protectors as always. And also remember, making mistakes is not a bad thing. Making those mistakes makes you a better human, makes you a better person, and gives you the experience to know not to make that same mistake again. Alright? Have a good night, everybody. Remember, love always, love often, and peace to everyone.